Crying is a universal human experience that transcends culture, language, and age. It catches us off guard during heart-wrenching moments, like the end of a first love, or even in unexpected times of happiness, like the sight of a long-lost friend. But have you ever paused to ask why our bodies respond this way? Is there an evolutionary purpose behind tears, or are they merely a quirky byproduct of our emotional lives? Turns out, there's a lot more to crying than meets the eye. Let's explore the fascinating science behind tears, their different types, and how they contribute to our well-being and survival. The 3 types of tears, more than meets the eye. Number 1. Basal tears. These are your eye's silent protectors, working tirelessly to keep them hydrated and free from irritation. Produced around the clock, basal tears form a thin film that shields the cornea, the clear, outer layer of your eye, from dust and microscopic invaders. Without them, your vision would blur and your eyes would feel like sandpaper. Interestingly, the composition of basal tears is so well calibrated that it mirrors saline solutions used in hospitals to clean wounds, nature's perfect design. Number 2. Reflex tears. Ever wondered why chopping onions feels like an emotional workout for your tear glands? Reflex tears are your body's automatic defense mechanism against irritants like smoke, dust, or volatile compounds from onions. When your eyes detect these threats, they send signals to your brain, which in turn activates your lacrimal glands. These glands then flush the irritant out with reflex tears. Onions, for instance, release sulfur compounds that form a mild acid upon contact with your eyes, prompting a watery defense. Reflex tears are nature's version of a car wash, keeping your vision clear and irritation-free. Number 3. Emotional tears. Emotional tears are the most fascinating type, unique to humans. They flow when we're overwhelmed with feelings, be it heartbreak, joy, or sheer frustration. While other animals produce tears for physical reasons, only humans cry in response to emotions. What's more intriguing is that emotional tears have a distinct chemical makeup, containing stress hormones and proteins not found in other types. This suggests that these tears may serve a deeper purpose, which we'll explore further. Tears of sadness. A uniquely human trait. Humans are the only species known to cry as an emotional response. This might seem strange, but when we examine the science, it becomes clear why evolution may have favored this behavior. One of the leading theories is that crying serves as a non-verbal signal to those around us. Imagine our ancient ancestors. If someone was injured or distressed, tears would have been a visible cue to their tribe that they needed help. This social signaling likely strengthened group bonds, a critical factor for survival in harsh environments. Studies have even tested the power of emotional tears in modern settings. In one experiment, participants were shown 2 versions of the same photo, one where the subject had visible tears and one where they didn't. The tearful photos were overwhelmingly rated as more sorrowful and elicited greater empathy from viewers. Without tears, facial expressions of sadness were sometimes mistaken for confusion or surprise. This ability to communicate vulnerability through tears may be one reason why humans have evolved to cry. The science of tears. How emotions trigger crying. So, what's happening inside your body when you cry? The process starts in your brain, specifically in areas like the hypothalamus and basal ganglia, which are responsible for processing emotions. These regions activate the tear glands, also known as lacrimal glands, which then release a flood of tears. Interestingly, the hypothalamus and basal ganglia are also involved in regulating your body's stress response, linking emotional tears to physiological changes like a racing heart or a lump in your throat. Research shows that emotional tears often accompany intense feelings, whether positive or negative. For example, crying during a touching movie activates the same neural pathways as crying from heartbreak. This overlap suggests that tears may be a universal way for the brain to process and regulate extreme emotions. Moreover, crying triggers the release of endorphins and oxytocin hormones that reduce pain and promote feelings of well-being. This might explain why a good cry often leaves us feeling lighter and more balanced. Tears of joy. Similar yet different. Tears of joy may feel different from those of sadness, but they share more in common than you might think. Both types are triggered by intense emotional experiences and activate similar regions in the brain. Whether you're crying at a wedding or after achieving a personal milestone, these tears are your body's way of expressing emotions too big to contain. Interestingly, tears of joy may also serve a social purpose. They signal to others that you're experiencing something profoundly meaningful, inviting them to share in your happiness. This shared emotional experience can strengthen bonds and foster a sense of connection. For instance, researchers have found that people often feel closer to someone after witnessing them cry tears of joy, as it reveals their depth of feeling and humanity. It's no wonder that we often associate tears of joy with moments of celebration and unity. Crying and social connection, a bonding experience. One of the most beautiful aspects of crying is its ability to bring people closer together. When we cry in front of others, we show vulnerability, a rare and powerful act in a world that often rewards emotional stoicism. This openness can evoke empathy and deepen relationships, whether with family, friends, or even strangers. Parents, for example, are hardwired to respond to a crying child, offering comfort and security. Similarly, when adults cry, it often prompts those around them to offer support, creating a feedback loop of care and connection. In group settings, shared crying experiences, such as mourning at a funeral or celebrating a team victory, can create a profound sense of unity. Far from being a sign of weakness, crying is a powerful tool for fostering social bonds and building emotional resilience. Theories of stress relief. Cry it out. Ever heard the saying, "Have a good cry and you'll feel better"? There's more truth to it than you might realize. Emotional tears contain higher levels of stress-related hormones like adrenocorticotropic hormone, which are released during periods of intense distress. Some researchers believe that crying helps flush these hormones out of the body, providing a physical release for pent-up stress. While this theory is still being studied, anecdotal evidence strongly supports it. Many people report feeling a sense of relief and clarity after crying, as if a weight has been lifted. This cathartic effect may explain why crying is often described as a form of emotional detox, helping us process difficult feelings and move forward. In fact, cultures around the world have rituals and practices that encourage crying as a means of healing, from grief ceremonies to tearful reunions. The mystery of tear triggers. What makes you cry might not have the same effect on someone else, and that's part of what makes crying so uniquely human. For some, a nostalgic song or a poignant memory might bring on the tears. For others, it could be frustration, pride, or even laughter. The variability of triggers reflects the complexity of our emotional lives and the personal experiences that shape us. Interestingly, cultural norms also play a role in how and when people cry. In some societies, crying is seen as a sign of strength and authenticity, while in others, it's viewed as a private or even shameful act. Despite these differences, crying remains a universal expression of what it means to be human, transcending boundaries and connecting us to one another in ways words cannot. The beauty of tears, a symbol of humanity. At its core, crying is a celebration of our shared humanity. It reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles, joys, or sorrows. Tears are a silent language that communicates our deepest emotions, inviting others to understand and support us. They're also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a way of confronting life's challenges and emerging stronger on the other side. So the next time you find yourself crying, embrace it. Whether your tears are sparked by sadness, happiness, or sheer frustration, they're a vital part of what makes you beautifully, imperfectly human. Let them flow, knowing that your tears are not a sign of weakness, but a mark of strength and authenticity. What's your take on the science of crying? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating explorations into the quirks of human behavior.